never gonna shoot me down. I said I'm gonna run the town, and I'll prove it. You said I was for far too long away. I said I know, but I will find a way to be here longer, be by your side for days. And you said, okay, please don't make me wait.
I got started when I was around, actually at a really young age, when I was 16 years old. I was just playing around with this program Reason that you probably know. And at the time I had a friend who had a company for web design stuff. And one of their clients was a clothing company called Warmland. And they had a website and they needed some kind of lounge music, just really short clips, 30 seconds, just lounge music in the background for this website. And he was my good friend who did the company for the web design stuff. So he just asked me, because he knew that I was playing around with that program. I didn't do anything really, just I had no idea what I was doing, but I guess maybe there was something in it that he thought sounded good. So he was asking me if I was up for doing those little clips for their website, and I could make some money with it. I was just 16 years old, and it was great to do that on the side, and it was really fun actually. And that's how I got started, really slowly though, because it was just a few of those little jobs, and but it was cool in the beginning. And then later on I started going out to clubs here in my environment in Germany, and I met this one DJ guy who was a resident DJ at a club in my hometown, basically, where I would always go to every weekend with my best friends. And one random night I just brought a demo CD with a really simple kind of disco house song that I made back then, and I just gave it to him, and he thought it was amazing, and he signed it because he had a record label too. And that's how I got started. And then from there on, I moved on to another record company in Cologne, just started to talk to more DJs, more producers, and just make my contacts basically. And of course, at the same time, start learning more and more about music production. But it took me around, in total, I would say 5 years till I got to that level where I would say, okay, now maybe things start to sound professional. I worked with Reason for the first 2 years, I think 2-3 years, and then I started to play around with Cubase. Actually, at the time, I always wanted to work with Logic because I thought it was a cooler program, but it was only available for Mac, at least the neo versions. I think up to Logic 5, it was okay to, it was working with the PC, but after that, not anymore. And at the time, I could just not afford a Mac, so I sticked with Cubase. And at the time, with the old Cubase version, I always thought that Logic was better, but now actually with the current version, I think they are, for me, it works out better, Cubase. But anyways, that's how I switched to Cubase, and then recently I started playing around with Ableton too. Just maybe a year ago, I started with Ableton too, just because there are some things in Ableton that are really great for creative workflow, while Cubase is really great for technical workflow and for the mixing and audio editing and everything. But there are some things in Ableton that I really like, and that's why I just recently started working with Ableton too. For the first 5 years, I was working in the basement of my parents' house, and that's where I started to build a really basic studio. Just some nice monitors, some room treatment, and then some basic synths that I got at the time from some side jobs, and you know, stuff that I bought on eBay, just like a secondhand synth. And that was in the basement of my parents' house. Then I moved out. I had a small apartment by myself and a really tiny room in there, and I started building a studio in there. It was really tiny. Same story, basically just good speakers and some room treatment, and I think a monitor controller and a master keyboard. That was it. It was really tiny. But in that room, I actually made my biggest song up to date in a commercial sense, which was Tung. I made that one in this studio, and then my older tracks like Bong and Hydra and some others too. So that's why I created those. And then after that, I moved to Holland for 2 years because I was working together with FaderPro. He invited me to work in his studio in Holland, in Breda. He has 2 studios in there and a smaller one which was available and free, and he gave it to me basically to use it. And his studio was built by a guy, Misha Jacobi, who is a studio engineer and someone who builds studios in Holland together with some other people, architects and designers. And I saw that studio that FaderPro had. It's a spaceship studio, and I was mind blown. I thought, wow, this is crazy. I love to work there. The sound is amazing. It's really great to work in there. And yeah, I worked in there for 2 years. It was a great experience. I really loved it. But then I wanted to move back to Germany just because I feel more home here in Germany. Holland is great, but Germany is my home base. So that's why I decided to move back to Germany. And then at the time, it was in 2013, then I was ready to build my own spaceship. So I started to talk to Misha Jacobi, and then we started this whole project here, which is, it's also my house, my apartment where I live, and my studio in there. I love it like this because basically when I go to sleep next day in the morning, I just wake up and I leave my bedroom and just cross the floor and the hallway, and then I'm in my studio. So it's great. I never planned to become a DJ in the beginning. I never wanted to become a DJ. I wasn't sitting there and saying, okay, wow, I want to become a DJ, so I got to make music and release some records so I can be a DJ. That's not how I got started. I just wanted to make music, and I just loved electronic music, especially house music. I always had the love for it, so I made that type of music. And when you make that type of music and you become really good at it, then you automatically become a DJ too, because you want to perform that music, of course. And I started to go out more, and also I started to watch other DJs playing, and then of course you get excited by that too, and it's exciting to watch the shows and the live sets, and especially it's exciting to listen to your own tracks live on stage. So at that point, then I just started to play some shows here in Germany when I was 25, 26 years old, through some friends who had some events and parties in Cologne here in Germany, and Düsseldorf, and you know, some stuff that's close by in my area, nothing crazy. But yeah, that's how I learned DJing, and then it took till the release of Tung, basically. That was the point when all of a sudden everyone wanted to book me, and I got the chance to play everywhere in the world. But it took a while to get there, actually. But yeah, it took just patience, but it was a fun way, though. You know, at that point, then, first time I remember I played a show in Berlin. It was in 2011, end of 2011. Tiesto was headlining. It was actually a Tiesto show in a huge arena, a soccer stadium in Berlin. And then that was my first time ever to be standing in front of a big crowd. Before that, the biggest crowd I had was maybe 1,000 people. And then boom, there were 20,000 people in front of me. So you can learn and try to practice and everything, but you can never prepare yourself for that moment. One of my superheroes in the industry has always been Axwell. This has always been one of my big idols. And then there was this one moment when Axwell hit me up by email, and he was just randomly asking me if I wanted to play a show together with him in New York. He was preparing this huge show called Cosmic Opera. I think it happened in 2012, and he had to pick a couple of support artists, and he just randomly emailed me and was like, yo, Dennis, are you up for playing the show together with me in New York? And I was like, wow, did he just really send me that email? I was completely mind blown, and that was an amazing moment, definitely. But also even earlier, before that, when it started that people were starting to play my songs. Anytime that happened, one of the big DJs started playing my songs, there was always a huge moment for me. I think I remember David Guetta playing my song, and then Sebastian Ingrosso and Tiesto, those three, first time playing my songs ever, because you look up to these people, and they're your idol and your superheroes, and then all of a sudden they start playing your own song. So that's, of course, big.
You said I was for far too long away. I said, I know, but I will find a way to be here longer, be by your side for days. And you said, okay, but please don't make me wait. You're never gonna shoot me down. I said I'm gonna be around. Give me a chance to prove it.
To be really honest, I think the whole EDM scene and the whole market was kind of stuck a little bit in 2014. That's what I personally felt like. In 2014, it was a bit, the whole sound was a bit stuck because I was missing, not in total, I mean, of course, there were always artists who did really amazing creative stuff, but in average, it was kind of a little bit stuck with that typical EDM aggressive type of sound and everyone copying each other. So I didn't like that too much, but then in 2015, it really started to change again. And the current development, I think, is amazing. There's so much great music coming out at the moment that I really love in different genres and different styles and everything. It's not just one direction anymore, but everyone is trying out new things and being more experimental, and there are more directions and not just this one typical EDM sound that was maybe a bit too popular in 2014 for my personal taste. My number one advice, but that's a simple one, an easy one, probably something that most people always hear, is try to be unique and try to have your own sound, your own style, because that's the only way you become an artist. If you try to just copy other people and try to just like him and him and him, then you won't become an artist like that. So I think that's very important, but that's simple. Another thing that I learned over the years is maybe let's start in the beginning, actually, when you start sending out demos and tracks. What I try to tell people is be really sure about the quality of your track that you're sending out, because usually when you maybe, let's say you get a chance to send out a track to your favorite DJ or your favorite producer, whatever, you get a chance, and let's say he will actually take a listen. You want to be sure that your track is really great and you are really sure about the quality, because you will get that chance only one time. Same with the record labels. Usually, they will not listen 3, 4, 5 times if first time was complete crap. So try to be sure about the quality, and if you're really sure and you think, okay, this is worth listening to, then send it out.